gentlemen, welcome to the final episode of the Men of Iron podcast as we wrap up our focus on fitness for this month. And I'll be passing it off to our next host, Travis Albanesius, with a focus on mentorship. I am Justin Watkins, and if you've been listening along, we're climbing the mountain of fitness using 1 Corinthians chapter 6, 19 and 20 as our ultimate compass to define what fitness is all about. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in you as a gift from God. You are not your own. You were bought at a price, so honor God with your body. Each phase along the climb is unique with challenges and opportunities, and last episode we were at the pitch of the climb, at that proverbial clearing on the journey where your fitness routines have become more of your identity. They've become more natural rather than a task or challenge to incorporate into your life. And you're seeing progress in your goals. You're expanding the reach of your fitness goals outside of those early, simple, focused parts of your climb, the pain points. And so at that point, it's important to stop and evaluate the path you've been on and make sure you're doing these three things. Celebrate your victories, evaluate the challenges and how you'll attack them, and then be mindful to take note of what God is teaching you about himself and who you are in him through that journey. As a reminder of what Paul writes in 1 Timothy 4:8, while physical training has some value, it's good, it's still good, don't give up doing it. Godliness, though, has value for all things, holding promise for both the present and life to come. So today we're further up the mountain, getting closer to the summit. In this climb, again, remember, you never actually arrive at the peak, but I do want to paint a picture of what this part of the climb and the journey might look like. Being towards the top of the mountain doesn't mean that you have to be a professional bodybuilder or elite fitness influencer. Every man's journey looks unique to their own experience, so don't compare yourself to what other guys are doing, okay? How each part of the climb will look is unique to you and your climb and your fitness journey, okay? So as you get closer to the summit, your knowledge, your experience, and habits have become more second nature to you. As we discussed last episode, you are a man who takes care of your fitness. You are now aware of and more disciplined in a wider array of those fitness categories like mobility, nutrition, rest and recovery, and so on, right? And whereas the start of the climb was more narrowly focused on those pain points, you have a strong foundation of sustained habits and consistency, and then you're making progress in your goals. Towards the top, now the adventure is about exploring new challenges to see what your body is capable of. Now you have a desire to push yourself further and commit the work towards new accomplishments, maybe things that you haven't even considered for years and years, or maybe things you've never even thought of were possible or ever had a desire to go towards ever before. So oftentimes this season, this part of the climb is where you begin to have influence on other climbers around you, whether intentionally or not. Others around you they'll start to see you as a guy who cares about his health. And there becomes this natural opportunity to guide others up the mountain. Just natural conversation and seeing what you're doing and your disciplines in the gym, at home, and what you're eating and things like that. I shared that for me, my current fitness climb started about 6.5 years ago. Not based out of significant health concerns, but it was just a superficial lack of confidence in taking off my shirt for a family trip that was scheduled a few months later, okay? So again, whether the initial reason or pain point is spiritually significant or not, if it gets you on the mountain, the soul work will come later, okay? So I would say that getting to that family trip kind of marked my time of going up that first season or phase of the climb. That got me to that clearing. I was able to get to that point and got a little bit better eating habits and working out. I was starting to feel a little bit better for that trip specifically. And that incremental progress and better overall health was a motivator to keep climbing. I enjoyed the work. I enjoyed setting new goals, learning more about the holistic aspect of fitness and celebrating victories and progress along the way. So I would say I spent about 4 years in that middle part of the climb. And again, you might feel like that's where your season of life or goals keeps you for a longer period of time. Or maybe you're triggered to drive up the mountain even faster than that. So for me, I would say about 4 years, I was in that clearing middle part of the mountain, like doing good things, continuing to kind of progress and get healthier, but not being driven beyond where I was. And it was during that time, it was in that part of the journey that the pandemic shut everything down, which really threatened my progress going to the gym. And it was a little deflating, and I'm sure lots of guys experienced that. And so I began finding ways to work out at home. I was picking up some equipment here and there before everything became crazy expensive and inflated. I began finding more ways to get outside, run a little bit more than I used to. I found a lot of joy and excitement in working out and the convenience of doing so at home. And not everyone is like this, I get it, but I personally prefer working out alone. I find enough motivation without other people being around. I don't need to go to the gym, and with a full-time job, with a wife and 4 kids, the idea of walking out to my garage whenever it was least disruptive to our schedule was a pretty big draw. So after slowly adding pieces to the gym, along with some motivation from my dear brother MJ Salvatore, who has an incredibly impressive home garage gym. You should check that out sometime. Follow him. I don't know I'm not on the gram, but he has got pictures of his gym. Anyway, I started adding and investing in some of the key pieces of equipment for my own space, like a wall rack, a set of bumper plates, dumbbells, along with a lot of other things, and started kind of adding those to the mix. Again, swing by Will Street. I will give you a tour. I'd be happy to do it. And so anyway, 2 years ago, I was able to walk into my local gym and cancel my membership for good because I finally had everything I need in the comfort of my own home. And that's where I would say was like the turning point for me to push into that higher elevation of the fitness climb. I've invested a lot more time, effort, and now finances into the process because it's an important part of who I am. And what is defining the last 2 years for me is now finding new challenges and bigger goals that haven't been part of my fitness focus for decades. So for example, I spent a good portion of time with a goal of bulking up, and I put on 20 pounds, hopefully mainly of muscle, and just being bigger and stronger than I've ever been. Even peak college athlete Justin, I was bigger than that version of me. And then over the past 6 months, I went the other way. I cut back those 20 pounds, and now I'm in a season where I see more definition in my body than perhaps, again, I've experienced since college. So there have been goals related to push-ups and running and new PRs in my lifts or challenges within the workout program I'm following. It's just rare over the last 2 years that I'm not working towards some specific program or goal alongside of just my routine and my fitness and my training. Now, again, in terms of comparison, I'm not at the same athletic prowess as I was in college. It would be hard for me to compete with the natural just endurance, speed, youthfulness, metabolism that I had back then. And even now, today, like I'm not the strongest, fastest, or fittest guy that you would know, right? Like there's plenty of other guys that are all those things and more. You wouldn't walk by me and be like, oh, are you a professional athlete or a personal trainer? Like, I mean, just, but again, so for me though, if you know me, you hear me talk about fitness, you know it's a big part of my life. And hopefully you could tell physically from my appearance that I'm committed to taking care of my body, right? Like I would hope, I think. And so anyway, that has just kind of led me to have a little bit more influence and impact through fitness in the climb of others around me. And I would say that starts first with my immediate family. After being obviously and reasonably a little hesitant of how much I was putting into our garage transformation, my wife Jenna, now for months, has been consistently out in the garage several days a week. She's often been the one leading the charge on our family's nutrition. She's now taking supplements and protein and looking out at her workout routines. And yeah, I mean, like it's become a journey for both of us. And all 4 of our kids know our value of fitness because they watch us being intentional with all those areas of our health. They're around us when we're out in the gym. I don't know how many times our 3 and 5-year-old are out there not only watching, but mimicking our workouts. In fact, oh man, I wish I had a video. I wish I could show this. Like our 5-year-old has had her own routine for a couple years, which is really super cute and super impressive. At 3 years old, she started, I'll have to, You'll have to check it out sometime. Come by the gym. I'll have my 5-year-old daughter run you through her workout routine. It's awesome. This summer, my oldest son asked me to start training him as he gets ready for middle school sports. Our kids have enjoyed hopping in the ice bath, getting adjusted at the chiropractor, and are hearing the reasons why we choose better whole foods and ingredients for our health. And hopefully the result is that they are growing up with a proper understanding of being healthy and active in our home as they grow out of our home as well. And so we're intentional having conversations about this whole topic of why fitness and having a healthy and proper view of it and ourselves and our bodies, and not just doing it to chase after some sort of goal or image that could be unhealthy. And so besides that, like, I've got more chances to encourage friends around me as some of them are getting started on their fitness climbs, sharing what works work for me, what I'm doing in my nutrition, my workout routines. Even though I like working out on my own, I've been working out with some friends, going on some runs or tackling goals like the Murph Challenge. I mean, it's just kind of like you just naturally, because it's something you love to do, you have opportunities to share it with others. So if you're in this stage of your fitness climb, however you might describe it or define it, the challenge or temptation comes in to make fitness the end goal of your effort. Or perhaps the focus becomes the outside appearance of the temple, right? Fitness can easily become an idol rather than the means to your adventure of knowing God and pursuing your purpose. Let me say that again. Fitness can very easily, at this stage of the climb, become an idol rather than the means to your adventure of knowing God and pursuing your purpose. The results of my hard work and accomplishments can be addictive. Being able to see my abs again, the way my clothes fit, the compliments I receive, the goals that I'm hitting, that idol leads to pride and a focus on self rather than honoring the Holy Spirit. Another challenge can be the endless pursuit of comparison to what or who is next, that you become consumed with chasing after things that you can achieve and then ultimately leave you discouraged and empty because you fall short. The goal of fitness is to intentionally care for the temple, meant to bring glory and honor to the Holy Spirit inside of you, not to fill your ego. Fitness is to better equip you to physically pursue the purpose and people that God has called you to serve, not become a vehicle that derails your focus. So if you're not intentional, you can very easily spend so much time working on the outside of the temple that you forget that you don't own the building. Remember, you are not your own. You are bought at a price. You are renting this body and you are taking care of it. So my challenge to you is this, and as it is for me, because this is the stage of the climb that I'm in now, the challenge is this question: is your fitness becoming an idol? If you would consider into those higher elevations of your fitness climb, if you're up there, then you might need to evaluate the other areas of your life to see if you're becoming unbalanced in your pursuit of fitness goals. Just as you might have felt unbalanced away from fitness at the start of the journey, you need to be honest about whether your faith, family, finances, and friends are now areas that are being neglected. So your assignment is this: have a very honest conversation with the Spirit of God within you and ask if you're building His house or yours. And one way that you can do that is to evaluate those other 5 F's of your life and see if you're balanced and healthy in those areas. And so again, I want to offer a very simple free resource from our website that you can help evaluate those other areas. Go to menofiron.org, click on the red free resources button at the top of the page, and you'll scroll down and find the My 5F Action Plan. It's a simple way to start evaluating those other areas and see if you're neglecting the other 5 F's in pursuit of the idol of fitness. And then I would challenge you to make the changes necessary to get balanced. That might mean you need to take a break from your goals and routine for a bit to reset your vision and reason for fitness. It might mean you need to invest more energy and time into another area of your life that is lacking. Maybe it means you need to ask God how He wants to use your fitness for His purpose. So go get that resource, fill it out, talk it out with the Lord and with another person close enough with you who can be honest with you and reorient your vision. Men, your fitness matters because you are a temple of the Holy Spirit who lives inside you. Your physical body is not your own. You are bought at a great price. So honor him with your body as a vehicle to know him more and serve his purpose. All right, men, that's it for me and the podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue equipping men for the adventure of knowing God and knowing their purpose. We'll catch you next time.